Hey guys, this is North back again with another video. Today's video I'm going to talk to you about 10 of my favorite fragrances that are in the private or exclusive line from designer houses. Now, if you're not familiar, the exclusive or private blends from a particular designer house are just fragrances that are in a different price bracket. They're more expensive than the normal line. And so for that reason, people tend to say that they're like the niche version or just the private blend. So I'll just go over 10 of them and let's go ahead and get it going. These won't be in any particular order, but what I will do is I'll first talk about the fragrances from houses that I only own one from the house, and then the latter ones, it'll be ones that I have 2 or 3 of. And the first one I wanted to mention is from the house of Yves Saint Laurent, and this is Caftan. Caftan was released in 2015, and some of the notes in this one are pink pepper, benzoin, frankincense, and styrax. The reason why I wanted to pick up on this one was because I was watching Sebastian's videos, the perfume guy, and he had this on his benzoin list, and benzoin is a note that I love. I don't know if you can see on the label, but it says on the label incense and benzoin, so 2 of my favorite notes. So I had to go ahead and pick this one up. This is the only one I own from the house. I was interested in Cuir, but when I smelled it, I wasn't blown away from it. I was able to get this for a crazy price, brand new, so I was lucky enough to get a bottle of it. Moving on. The next fragrance I want to mention is from the house of PRADA. This is from their Olfactories private line, and this one is called Marienbad. I did do a small review on this fragrance. I was praising it. It was one that I really wanted to get my hands on. The private line, the PRADA, run expensive, as expensive as some of the other ones, if not more. So I wasn't sure I was going to get a bottle, but I was lucky enough to find a tester bottle. I don't know if you can see, it says tester on the back. So I was able to find this for around $100. And this one was released in 2015. Marienbad has notes of leather, incense, vanilla, civet, labdanum, agarwood, and rose. This is a very sophisticated, slightly animalic, slightly powdery scent, and it's one that I love and have to keep it in my collection. I have one other from the PRADA Olfactories line, but I did not feature it in this video just because it doesn't last that long. I do love the scent, but for the price that they're asking, I just didn't put in this video. Moving on. The next fragrance I want to mention is from the house of MUGLER. This is from their Les Exceptions collection, and this is Over the Musk. Now, I've mentioned Over the Musk a few times. This is just one of my all-time favorite fragrances. Over the Musk is, again, one of my all-time favorite fragrances. To me, it's the best white musk fragrance that money can buy. It is just so good. It was released in 2014. Some of the notes on this are musk, cashmere wood, ambrette seeds, and black pepper. Every time I smell this, I just talk to myself like a crazy person, just complimenting myself. I just think that it just smells so good. It's a heavenly type of scent. And let's go ahead and keep it moving. Moving on to Tom Ford private blends. All of the ones that I own are actually discontinued, so I just chose 2 that I really like that are not going for crazy prices online. And the first one I wanted to mention is London. London was an excellent pickup of mine. It was released in 2015, and this one has notes of cumin, saffron, cardamom, black pepper, coffee, incense, oud, and birch tar. So London is a spicy, slightly animalic scent. If you do not like the notes of cumin in your fragrances or slightly animalic scents, this is not one that you would want to blind buy. It does not have any notes that are derivative of animals, but I believe the cumin, people talk about how the note of cumin gives off an odor which is almost like BO or body odor, but this one I love. It's just a unique scent and one that I'm very happy to have in my collection. Moving on. The next fragrance from Tom Ford that I wanted to mention is Vert d'Encens. Vert d'Encens was released in 2016, and some of the notes in this are resins, pine, incense, balsam fir, and heliotrope. This is one of my all-time favorite incense-based fragrances. This one I put high up on the list, but is without a doubt a top 5 incense-based fragrance in my collection. I'm happy that I was able to get it for a decent price. This is also one that is not going online for too much more than retail. So if you're into green pine type of incense-based fragrances, you may want to check this one out. Moving on. Now moving on to the House of Chanel, their Les Exclusives line, and this one is Cuir de Russie. This particular one is actually an eau de toilette, which was released in 2007. They've all been re-released in only eau de parfum concentrations, so I was lucky enough to find this one and get it for less than retail. So again, this one was released in 2007. Some of the notes in it are ylang ylang, bergamot, leather, birch, tobacco, and musk. And this one is a leather scent that opened my eyes to what leather scents could be. To me, it's always like ombre leather or Tuscan leather, and that particular leather note I'm not a big fan of, but this one I love for sure. Let's move on to the next one. The last one I want to mention from the House of Chanel is Chanel number 22. This is a eau de parfum concentration, so this one was released in 2016. Some of the notes on this are aldehyde, ylang ylang, jasmine, rose, and vanilla. This is the fragrance that definitely put me on to the note of aldehydes. Now I'm just obsessed with fragrances that have aldehydes in them, and I can blame number 22 for that. There is a larger eau de toilette concentration that I can find locally, but it's the big bottle and it's going for a significantly high price. So I'm going to wear this throughout the year and see how I feel about maybe dropping some money on that. But this is one that I searched out and tried to find for a cheaper price. I couldn't, and I ended up buying it for retail. That's how much I liked it. Moving on. Now moving on to the House of Christian Dior. I am going to keep the list to 10 fragrances, so I'll only mention one. I have mentioned Leather Oud a number of times, so I'm not going to talk about that one today. Today I'm going to highlight Fève Délicieuse. Fève Délicieuse, this is a 250 ml bottle tester that I found of the original concentration, which was released in 2015. The batch code on this one says it was produced in 2014, so it's actually one of the very first ones that was put out, so I'm happy to have found that and got a good deal on it. Some of the notes on this one are cherry, tonka bean, vanilla, cacao pod, praline, benzoin, milk, and sandalwood. And what I love about Fève Délicieuse is that I'm not the biggest fan of gourmands. I do like gourmands, but what I love about this one as far as gourmands go is that it still smells like perfume. It's not like, I do love Italica. I believe it smells delicious. It smells like food, but what I love about this one is that it still smells like perfume. So I feel like it is more wearable to me. I could see myself wearing this on multiple occasions. If I only had this, I could see myself wearing this almost every day. That type of scent is that it still smells like perfume, and that's what I love about Fève Délicieuse. So that's the only one I'll mention from Christian Dior. Down to the last two, I'm going to mention the House of Giorgio Armani from the Armani Privé line. Most of the Armani Privés that I have are also discontinued. There are some that aren't. I own a couple like Bols d'Ansan, so I'm not featuring that. The one I wanted to feature is Sable Nuit. Sable Nuit was originally a Middle East exclusive. It was released in 2021. Some of the notes on this are frankincense, pink pepper, benzoin, labdanum, and vanilla. What I love about this is that to me it incorporates all of the positive aspects from the other previous incense line, incense-based fragrances that were released on the Armani Privé, like Bols d'Ansan's Incense Satin. I have to be leaving out another one, but to me it combines all the positive aspects of those and it puts it into one fragrance. I was pretty much blown away by this when I first smelled it, so much that I put it at the top of my incense-based list. I will try to update that this year once it gets a little bit cooler and I'll wear them, because I have added some other incense-based fragrances to my collection since then, but this one is still a winner for me. Like I said, it to me it has every aspect of all the other previous incense-based one. It has the sweetness from the incense satin. It has the woodiness and the churchy incense of the Bose d'Encens, and it just puts it all into one. I'm not sure if this is released worldwide now. I believe you can at least get it in Europe, but it's much better than the latest one that they released. There was one that they released which was a Dubai exclusive. I haven't seen any reviews on it, but they finally got it in Kuwait, and I smelled it, and it was a quick pass for me. I may revisit it again and see what's up with it, but until then, Sable Nuit is a top tier one. Moving on to the last one. The last one I want to mention on my list is also from Armani Privé, and it's one of my all-time favorite fragrances. It's my favorite fragrance from the Armani Privé line, and I think Armani Privé is pretty slept on as far as these private lines are concerned. I think they've had so many ones that are just phenomenal scents, and they stand out on their own. I think that they sometimes don't get their just due, maybe because they discontinue so many of them. But the last one I want to mention is Myrrhe Impériale. On one of my previous videos, I highlighted a different Armani Privé, and someone commented, "I thought your favorite was Myrrhe Impériale," and I commented back, "Yeah, it is," but I just didn't put it in that video. But I love this one so much that I had to pick up a 250 ml bottle. One is this one that is going to be extremely hard to find, so I couldn't believe that I came across a bottle just looking around in one of the shops. I sold my 100 ml bottle. That was the deal I made to myself. If I sold that one and got the money for that, then I would buy this 250 ml bottle, which is what I have done. And as I've spoken about Myrrhe Impériale, to me this is just an idealized version of what myrrhe should smell like. It's not what myrrhe smells like if you burn it or even if you smell it unburnt, but it is just a heavenly type of scent. I love it a lot. This one was released in 2013. The notes on it are myrrhe, amber, benzoin, vanilla, saffron, and pink pepper. You almost can't get any better than this. I even bought Iceni from Boudicca the Victorious because it smelled, I was told it smells like Myrrhe Impériale, which it does. So I picked that up even though I had a bottle of Myrrhe Impériale. That's how much I love this scent. And just so you can see the difference, this is the difference in size between 100 ml and 250 ml. So there you have it, guys. Those are 10 of my favorite designer private line fragrances from within my collection. What are some of your favorites from the designer houses in their private collections? Please let me know in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.